So Venkatesh Daya Shatakam is one of the Shatakas composed by Vedanta Deshika, a very great Vishishtatvaita Acharya. Kavitarkika Kesari is one of his titles. He is the lion amongst both logicians and poets. So in this Daya Shatakam, he does a very beautiful thing. He does not even praise Venkateshwara. Daya Shatakam is 100 shlokas praising Venkateshwara's Daya, his mercy, just the quality of mercy. He has composed 100 shlokas on. And in that he has envisioned Daya as a friend, as a wife, as a devata, as a river, as an ocean. He has thought of every single simile possible to talk about this Daya. He starts off with 2 shlokas. The first he offers as a namaskara to Venkatagiri itself. Prapadyetam girim prayah Srinivasa anukampaya Ikshusarasravankyeva Yanmurtya Shankarayitam is the first shloka of this. Tam girim prapadye. So I am doing Sharanagati to that mountain. Venkatagiri, Venkatachanam. He says this is not a mountain made up of rocks, dirt and stones. He says Venkateshwara's Daya, his mercy is like a massive river that flows, like Ganga or Saraswati or Yamuna. So as that river flows and flows, certain liquids have certain characteristics. For example, if we take sugarcane juice, if you leave it for a while, it will crystallize and become a solid. It will become sugar. In that same way, Venkateshwara's mercy has flowed and flowed and flowed, and over time it has crystallized to become this mountain that you now see in front of me called Venkatachanam. So he says this is not a mountain made up of stone, but this is Venkateshwara's mercy itself in solid form. In the next shloka, he offers his namaskaras to the Guru Parampara. Vigahe Sheta Bahulam, Vigahe Tirtha Bahulam, Shetalam Guru Santatim, Srinivasa Dayam Bodhi Pariva Haparamparam. So next he says, I have now located where this Daya, where this mercy is located. But now I need a way to get to that mercy. And for that, I have found something called Acharyas, called my Gurus. So, if Srinivasa's Daya is an Ambodhi, it is an ocean. So, I have found the quickest route a guaranteed route to reach the ocean. If we walk to the ocean, we may or may not get there. But one thing that will certainly go to the ocean is a river. No matter whether it goes down or up or turns or crosses rocks, a river will always go to the ocean. So, my Guru Parampara, whatever succession of acharyas they come from, these are all a series of tirthas. These are all a series of holy rivers that I have bathed in. And these rivers are all Shitala. Rivers by nature are cool. These gurus also are cool by nature of their mercy. And all these rivers eventually merge in the ocean. If we travel by means of the river, we will also reach the ocean. So he's saying, as I have dipped in the rivers that are my acharyas, and as I have taken them as the means to reach the Lord's Daya, these rivers will eventually take me and ensure that I become Patra, I become part to the Lord's Daya. And from there, from the 11th shloka onwards, he starts talking about Daya. He personifies Daya here. Not a single shloka in these 100 is addressed to Venkateshwara. He will say Daye, O Daya Devata, O Anukampe, O Anukampa Devata. Daya, Anukampa, Karuna, all these are words for mercy. So all these 100 shlokas are addressed to Daya. And some are very naughty in a way. He says, Ahamasya paradha chakravarti, karune tvam cha guneshu sarvabhaumi. So he says, I am aparadha chakravarti. Ahamasya paradha chakravarti, karune tvam cha guneshu sarvabhaumi. Vidushi sthiti midrishim, swayam mam vrishasaileshvara padasat kurutvam. So he says, O Daya Devata, I am a king. I am Aparadha Chakravarti. I am number 1 in the list of sinners. I am the king of sinners. You too are a queen. You are Gunesha Sarvabhaumi. You are the queen of all auspicious virtues. So Bhagavan in Vaishnava Sampradaya is supposed to have all good qualities. Saujanyam, Vatsalyam. There is a list of qualities that Bhagavan has. Of these, Daya is the queen of these qualities. So you are a queen and I am a king. And we both are opposing Rajyas. You belong to the kingdom of good qualities. I belong to the kingdom of sins. If there are two opposing countries, what will happen? One country will conquer the other, capture the opposing king and throw him at the feet of the winning king. So he says, O Daya, Ahamasmyaparadha Chakravarti, I am the king of this Rajya called sins. You are the queen of these gunas. So what will you do? Vidushi sthiti midushi. So knowing that this is the political situation, take me, conquer my kingdom, conquer me, and throw me at the feet of your king. Who is your king? Vrishashailachalapati. So come to me, conquer me and my kingdom. Meaning, take away my sins, purify me, have mercy upon me, and throw me at the feet of your king, who is Venkatachalapati. So Vrishashaileshwara Padasat Kurutvam is one shloka. Then, so next he says, you can be a queen and you can conquer me. This is one way of viewing the situation. He takes another one. Phalavitaranadaksham pakshapatanabhigyam pragunam anuvidheyam prapya padmasahayam mahati gunasamaje tvam daye manapurvam daye tvam prativadasi yatharham papmanam mamaganam. So he has one more thought. So the Atma is going, once it has passed from this world to the next. Going on the way, it saw one billboard. Do you want a lawyer? Call this number. And the lawyer's name was Daya. And the number there was Sharanagati. So as he goes, he finally called that number and he went to court. He went to court, this Atma went to court. And who was the judge there? The judge was Venkateshwara. What kind of a judge is this Venkateshwara? You cannot bribe him. And if he puts out whatever decision he makes will be guaranteed. It is not like some courts where the decision is stayed 10 years before it is put into action. He is Phalavitaranadaksham. If the result says Papa, you will get that Papa. If the result says Punya, you will get that Punya. How else is this judge? Pakshapata-anabhigyam. There is no partiality in this court. If you have sinned, you will receive the fruit. If you have committed a good thing, you will get the fruit of that virtue. There is no, this judge does not have any pakshapata. He is not partial. And he has a secondary judge, Padma Sahaya. Lakshmi Devi, she is not just sitting next to him watching, she is the jury. She is the secondary judge. So, I have come to this court. The judge will not forgive me. I have sinned. He will not have any mercy towards me. So, how will I now get out of this? Tvam prativadasi, because you are my lawyer. And how will her being your lawyer help? Because tvam manapurvam prativadasi. You argue with the support of Shastra. Where does Shastra say this? There are several instances where Bhagavan has said. One is Ramayana. Sakradeva prapannaya tavasmiti cha yachate abhayam sarvabhutebhyo dadami etat vratam mama. Rama states, if you come and say, I am yours, I take refuge in you even once, I will be your protector. In Gita, apichet suduracharo bhajate ma ananyabhak savhareva samantavya samyak vyavasitosi saha. So even if you are a sinner, if you take refuge in me once, I will make sure you come back onto the right path. So what this lawyer called Daya does is, in front of this court, in front of the impartial judge called Venkateshwara, this lawyer called Daya pulls out section chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita and argues my case of my papas. And therefore I come off without being judged guilty. Such is one shloka. Then he says, if it was not for you, certain things would not have happened. Avatarana visheshaihi atmalilopadeshaihi Avatarana visheshaihi atmalilopadeshaihi Avamati manukampe dushtachitteshu vindan Avamati manukampe mandachitteshu vindan Vrishabhashikharinatha tvannideshena nunam Bhajati sharanabhajam bhavino janma bhedan. So this Vedanta Deshika made one observation. He sees that Bhagavan is taking avatars, avataranam visheshaihi. How are these avatars? Is someone is forcing him? No, they are atmalilopadeshaihi. He is taking them out of his own will. He is making his own body, he is making his own circumstances, and he is taking an avatar out of his own will, of his own volition. But when he comes, avamatim mandachitteshu vindan. When Vishnu comes, he is getting nothing but embarrassment and ignominy. One of them comes, one of them steals the Vedas, one of them steals his wife, one of them insults him in front of the whole Sabha 100 times. One of them says that he does not even exist. Actually, there was this one shloka, someone said, Bhagavan took the form of Narasimha, very angry, powerful form. It was not because, to protect Prahlada or to kill Hiranyakashipu. He said that Vishnu had a point to prove. Avatara Trayam Drishtva Manavai Kavalikritam Drishtva Bhagavan Vishnu Narasimham Vapurdadho. Vishnu made a mistake when he took the first three avatars. The first three were a fish, a tortoise, and a boar. The problem was all three of these are edible forms. So people saw this, some kinds of people, some misfortunate people saw this, and Kavalikritam, meaning the sound was, they said, is the sound that they made, the poet says. So Vishnu got very mad at this and he said, at any cost I should not take an edible form. If anything, it should be a form that will make them edible. So he took the form of Narasimha with a lion face that no one would dream, forget about eating, no one would even want to go close to. So in that way, some people will even think in this way about the Lord. So when Bhagavan takes form, he is getting nothing but insults, nothing but avamanam. So he says, Bhagavan definitely would not have taken avataram after doing it once. The reason why he does it is, O Daya, Panniveshena, because you force him to. Because Daya forces Bhagavan to, he takes upon his avatars. What kinds of avatars? Janma Bhedan, Bhavinaha Sharana Bhajam. So not just normal avatars that gets the work done and I can go back. He makes sure to take avatars that will stay in the bhavas of bhaktas. Why? Because of you, Daya. So the moral behind this is, Bhagavan has no need to take form except for Daya. Even the Brahma Sutra says, Lokavattu Leela Kaivalyam. So he does this out of his own sport. So, and then he makes one more thing. He says that this Vedam, the Vedas, are actually not a book. He says they are a bazaar. So, Parimita Phala Sangat, Praninaha Kim Pachana, Nigama Vipani Madhye, Nitya Mukta Anushaktam, Parishada Manulabhya, Praptavatya Bhavatdaye, Praptavatya Bhavatya. So, this Veda is a big bazaar. So, the way that Veda works is, Pratyakshena Mityava Yastupayo Nalabhyate. So whatever we cannot attain via either pratyaksha or anumana or any of the other pramanas, Vedam gives us a method to attain those. So Vedam will give you both aihika phala and amushtika phala. It can give you whatever material prosperity you want in this world, either money or family or a house or good relationships, whatever material prospects you want, Vedam can give us that. Veda will also give us the highest. It will give us moksha by means of the Veda Anta, the Upanishads. So, in this Veda Vipani, in this Veda Bazaar, what we all do is, we go after Parimita Phalaha. We all, in this bazaar where many fruits are available, we go after these small things. Bhagavan, I will come to Tirupati, make sure that I pass my examinations. Now Venkateshwara has to come write the exams for this kid. In such ways, we only look for small fruits. But Daya, what you do is, you change their direction. You say, okay, come in, you will get these. And then in the bazaar, what do people walk out with? Vrishagiri Harinilam Vyanjitam Prapnuvanti. They come in looking for some small, trinkets and souvenirs. But they walk out with an Indranilamani, it says. They walk out with a sapphire. Which sapphire? A big, 8-foot Vigraham sapphire that is on top of Venkatachala. So they come into this Veda looking for some small, insignificant thing, and they walk out with the Paramartham itself, which is Bhagavan. So once they have come into this, you turn them towards Vedanta. So Vedanta is usually taken to mean the ends of the Vedas. Vedas are the book, compilation of Vedas is split into Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad. But this is a normal meaning for Vedanta. What Vedanta actually means is Vedanam Antaha Antima Nirdharaha Vedantaha. So the final goal, what the Vedas ultimately want to get across to us is Vedanta. So that is that, Jiva Brahma Aikya. That you are Bhagavan, the nature of Bhagavan. So what Daya does is, it pulls us into the Vedas, it invites us into the bazaar with a 50-50 deal, half deal. You come in looking for Aihika Phala, I will give you Amushtika Phala. So they come in looking for that and they leave with the highest fruit, which is the Ratna, the Indranila, which is on top of Venkatagiri. So in such a way, these are only 5 or 6 shlokas I have told, but every single shloka within Daya Shatakam is this beautiful. So then, now that we have gotten his Daya and gone to Venkatachalam and seen the Murti, the first thing that we see immediately is those feet. So Prativadi Bhayankara Vannan Swami has composed the Suprabhatam, he has composed the Kamala Gujajujuku Kumkumado in Totaka Vrittam, and then he has also composed Venkateshwara Charana Prapatti, or Venkateshwara Prapatti, set in Vasanta Tilaka. It's a very good chandas for things to be told in the morning. So in these, certain verses are particularly poetic in the way that they discuss Bhagavan's feet. So one day the poet came and he looked at the feet and he decided that now I do not need any more material prosperity. I do not need any gems, I do not need any precious stones, I do not need any money, because I have found these. Why? Tamro Daradyuti Parajita Padmarago Ahyair Mahobhir Abhibhuta Mahendra Nilo Udyan Nakham Shubhirudasta Shashanka Bhaso Shri Venkatesh Charanam Sharanam Prapadye. I have found these 2 feet, these 2 Venkateshwara Sharanam Prapadye, to which I am surrendering myself. What are these feet like? Tamro Daradyuti Parajita Padmaraga. So if the foot is like this, there is an arch inside the foot. The skin within the arch of that foot, in Samudraka Shastra, will be a light red, because the rest of the foot will be on the ground, the top of the foot will be exposed to sun. So the skin within the arch of the foot will always be a light red color. So he says this color, the color of the Lord's feet, in that particular place surpasses Padmaraga, rubies. Therefore I have decided that I do not need rubies because I have these 2. What about the outside? I have decided that I also do not need sapphire. Why? Because Bhagavan's body is in the color, that dark blue color of sapphire. And the top of that foot is in that color, and that surpasses sapphire. So I have decided that I do not need sapphire either. There is one more thing called Chandrakanta Shila. So it is a white looking stone, and when the moon reflects in it, it looks like it's shimmering. So he says, I have decided that I do not need that either. Udyan Nakham Shubhirudasta Shashanka Bhaso. If we look at the nail, not the cuticle part, but the part on top will look like a crescent moon. Bhagavan's nails are so beautiful that they surpass even the moon. So I have decided that I do not need the Chandra nor the Chandrakanta Shila. Therefore I choose these feet. Shri Venkatesh Charano Sharanam Prapadye. Then the poet thought about one thing. He said that I have said that these feet are very red in color. How must they have gotten this red color? And then he got another idea. Lakshmi Mahi Tadanurupa Nijanubhavaniradi Divya Mahishi Katapallavanam Arunya Sankramanatah Kila Sandrago Shri Venkatesh Charanam Sharanam Prapadye. All the days sevas were happening, he did not understand why the feet were red. In the end, Bhagavan was going to sleep, and these 8 wives, Lakshmi, Mahi, Tadanurupa. So all these 8 wives are avatars of Lakshmi and Mahi, Shri Devi and Bhudevi. So they all came together and they started jointly pressing Bhagavan's feet as he was sleeping. And then as they were pressing Bhagavan's feet, he saw their hands. And then he realized, okay, I have understood why his feet are red. A Lakshmi Saubhagya Lakshana is that the hands will be red. For married women who will have Saubhagyam, it is said that the hands will be red. So as these 8 women with 2 hands are all pressing the Lord's feet, meaning 16 red hands are pressing the Lord's feet. So with those hands pressing every day, a little bit of the redness came, and over time the feet themselves ended up becoming red. So he says that this is why the feet have now become red. And then he says, not just this, there is one more reason why the feet are red. Saprema bhiti kamala karaballavabhyam samvahanepi sapadiklamamadadhano Kantau Avang Manasagochara Saukumaryo Shri Venkatesh Charano Sharanam Prapadye. So he noticed one more quality of the feet. So at the end of the day, all the other wives went, and Vaikuntha Lakshmi Devi is pressing Vishnu's feet. How is she pressing it? Saprema Bhiti. She is pressing it with love and a little bit of concern. If you see, I remember once when I was a kid, my grandmother's feet were hurting and I was pressing them. I had just come off of playing cricket and I was still in the adrenaline rush. I grabbed the feet and I pressed them very hard. My grandmother said, "Don't press that hard, I won't be able to walk again." So, in that way, she is with bhiti, with fear that, I might press too hard, I might press in the wrong spot. So she is pressing with fear, number one. Number two, she is also pressing with prema. My husband, I hope, his feet, become better. I hope that, he gets to sleep well. So thinking, she is also pressing his feet. Now think, if we are scared, we will already be very soft with the way we press feet. If we love the person, we will be even more careful with the way we press the feet. But even though she is pressing his feet so delicately, his feet, what is the word? Kandipodam in Telugu. What is the right English word for that? His feet are still undergoing some stress, it seems. So they are that soft and leta. They are that soft, those feet. So they are avam manasagochara saukumaryam. So there is saukumaryam, which is, delicateness. Delicateness is the right word. Avam manasagochara. This delicateness is now inexpressible. It cannot be measured by words or even by thought. And the words he used here, avam manasagochara, go to one more thing. Because these feet are the essence of the Upanishads, the Brahma Padattha. What does the Upanishad say? Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha anandam brahmana vidvan. Right? So it says that Brahman too, speech and thought cannot exactly encapsulate him and will turn back. In the same way, these feet too, by virtue of having inexpressible saukumarya, they have attained such a state. And then he says, okay, I have now understood these feet, but now these feet need an address. I need to know where these feet are. So he says, Manmurtri Kaliyabhane Vikatatavishu Shri Venkatadrishikhare Shirasishrutinam Chitte Pyananya Manasam Samamahitote Shri Venkatesha Charanam Sharanam Prapadye. So he was looking for the flight with his feet's address. And he found that these feet are frequent flyers. Where he saw them once, these feet at one point have been placed on my head. Then in another point of time, they were on Kali Bhane, they were dancing. These feet were dancing on top of Kaliya's hoods. Then in another time, Vikata Atavishu, they were in the forests of Panchavanti and Dandakaranya. And then Shri Venkata Trishikhare, in another point of time, they were on top of Venkatachalam, on top of Venkatagiri. In another point of time, Shirasishrutinam, they were in the Upanishads. And at all times, they were in one more place. Chitte Pyananya Manasam, Ananyashchintayantoma. For those people who are always thinking of him, these feet's permanent address, all of these are, summer home, winter home, rainy season home, monsoon home, these are all these addresses. Permanent addresses, Chitte Pyananya Manasam, in the hearts of those who serve him without any second thought. Samamahitote. So such feet of Venkateshwara, Shri Venkatesha Charanam Prapadye. And then he finishes with an encapsulation of the relationship between Bhagavan and Devi. Shrisha Shriya Ghatikaya Tvagupaya Bhave Prapye Tvai Swayamupeyataya Spurantya Nityashritaya Niravadya Gunaya Tubhyam Syam Kinkaro Vrishagirisha Najatu Mahyam. Beautifully puts in the relationship between Bhagavan and Devi, as well as a little bit of the Jiva Brahma relationship in this. So he says, Shrisha, O Lakshmipati, Shriya Ghatikaya. So in Vaishnava Sampradaya, Shri is called Ghatika. She allows for the Bhakta to go close to Bhagavan. She makes it possible. She allows for the circumstances to be favorable. So she is called Ghatika. How is she? Upaya Bhave. She is the means to attain you. But you are prapye tvayi. You are the prapya. You are what must be attained. Lakshmi is the means by which you are attained. Therefore, what happened to Lakshmi? It says, Svayamupeyataya sprandya. So, Bhagavan is prapya, Lakshmi is ghatika. But because only through her Bhagavan can be attained, she herself has become prapya. She herself needs to be attained first before Bhagavan can be attained. So you are with Lakshmi, who due to being your ghatika has now become prapya like you, he said. Swaya ghatikaya tvadupaya bhave prapye tvai swayamupeyataya sprandya. So such a person, nityashmitaya niravadya gunaya tubhyam. So to such a person of blemishless character, niravadya gunaya tubhyam, syam kinkara. I am your servant, Vrishagiriisha, na jatu mahyam. But you are never my servant. This is what Shankaracharya says in Shatpadi. Samudro hi tarangaha, vachana samudro na tarangaha. So, as long as we are maintaining the difference between the wave and the ocean, if we say everything is the ocean, that is Advaita and this problem won't come into play. But as long as we are taking the Jiva and Brahma to be two different entities, in Vishishta Advaita it is always Amsha Amshi Bhava, Seva Sevaka Bhava, Sevya Sevaka Bhava. So, I am always your servant. The wave belongs to the ocean, but the ocean does not belong to the wave. In the same way, I will always be your servant, but the reverse of that will never happen. So this is how he finishes. Before this, there was actually one more shloka that I thought summarized the nature of these feet very well. Prayah prapanna janada prathama vagahyo madhustana vimashishor amritayamano praptau parasparatula vatulantaro te Shri Venkatesha charanam sharanam prapadye. So, what are these feet? They are the first part of your body that those who surrender to you understand. In two ways. One, surrendering to your feet. Second of all, when we do Sashtangam, as soon as we lift our head, the first thing we see is Bhagavan's feet. So, Prapanna Janada Prathamavagahya. The first thing that people that do Namaskaram do, you see. Second part, Madhu Stanavima Shishor Amritayamano. The way that a baby, the way that a mother's milk is the only thing that can ensure that the child gets full health and grows. In the same way, your feet are the only thing that will ensure my prosperity and my happiness. The third line is where poetic genius comes from. Prapto parasparatulav. So he looked at Bhagavan's left foot and he saw, is there anything like this in the world? So he went out around looking at different places, different pictures, different photos, different drawings, different objects. He decided that there is nothing, atulantaro, there is nothing else that is equal to this. This is unparalleled. And then he came back and said, oh, prapto parasparatalo. He said, I forgot one thing. There's the right foot. So the left foot is akin to the right foot. The right foot is just like the left foot. And there is nothing else in these three words that are a proper simile to these 2 feet, he says. So to such Venkateshwara's feet, I am surrendering. So in the same way, Venkateshwara is especially to Andhras and also to, of course, all Bhagavatas. Venkateshwara inspires a special devotion. So even Krishnadevaraya, the king of the Vijayanagara Empire from 1500 to 1520, and he wrote one kavya in Telugu called Amukta Malyana. So though he was ruling out of Karnataka and Vijayanagara, and though he was the king's deity, there was Virupaksha, Hampi Virupaksha, he gave his kavya Ankita. He dedicated his kavya to Venkateshwara. So the Mangalacharanam there goes, Shri Kamaniya Haramani Chinnuga Kanunu, Kaustubhambunanda Kamalava Unugaragatopa, Parasparatmalanda Akalitambulena Kamayapshutulanchita Paikitopa, Astogatanandu Dojana Shobhilu Venkata Bhattagulchadan. So one day in Vaikuntham, Lakshmi and Bhagavan were sitting in front of each other. So Shri Kamaniya Haramani Chinnuga Kanunu. So Lakshmi Devi, of course, she is the goddess of fortune. So goddess of wealth. So she has all the ornaments, and she is wearing one patakam here. So it's a big gem that is flat, and it is kind of like a mirror. And on the other side, Venkateshwara has a kaustubha. So what happened was, Lakshmi Devi was reflected in the kaustubha, and Bhagavan was reflected in Devi's pataka, in Devi's ornament. So the way kaustubha comes straight to Vishnu's heart. There are 4 different types of moksha. Samipya, Salokya, Sarupya, Sayujya. So there is going close to the Lord, going to the same lokam of Bhagavan. You will even look like Bhagavan, and Advaitins accept Sayujya, becoming one with Bhagavan. In Sarupya though, as per Vaishnava Granthas, you will become just like the Lord except for 2 things, Jagatpatitvam and Lakshmipatitvam. You will not become the master of the world, and you will not be Lakshmi's husband, but other than that, you will become just like the Lord. There are 2 more things that the Lord will have that these others will not have, which is Shrivansam and Kaustubham. Shrivansam is a birthmark, like a triangle that will be on the right side of the Lord's chest. Kaustubham is a particular gem that came out of the Kshirasagaram when it was churned. It was given by the Sagara along with Lakshmi during Kanyadanam to Venkateshwara. So this is a gem that only Venkateshwara, that only Vishnu will have. That is on his Hridayasthanam. It is on his heart, where his chest, where his heart will be. Devi's necklace also is hanging in such a way that Patakam, the main gem is on top of her heart. So Bhagavan is reflected in that gem. Devi is reflected in this gem. So to an onlooker, it looks like they are in each other's hearts and are reflected. That has just come out on top of it. It's not an actual reflection. Lakshmi is in Venkateshwara's heart. Venkateshwara is in Lakshmi's heart. The gems are just a way for them to tell us that. So in such a way, there are such shlokas on Venkateshwara. Swami uncle wanted me to tell one of my own. So I had written a shloka, so I will tell that one. So in the same way, if we think about all the ways that we have to understand Bhagavan, right? So I just said, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. So, speech and mind both do not do injustice, is what the Vedam says. Kava vakyakta yatne shruti pada vachane bhashitum tam samartha. So, vak. So, I have decided that I want to try to understand Bhagavan through speech. So speech is of 2 kinds, Paurusheya and Apaurusheya, born of man and not born of man. Whatever we all say is Paurusheya. Vedam is Apaurusheya because it comes out of Bhagavan, it is his breath. So that is the highest speech that we can possibly hope to find. But what is this Yakta Yatne? It has Chedalityasan, it has given up all hope of speaking about it because it itself has said, Naham Jane, I do not know. Yato vacho nivartante. So when Vedam itself, the highest speech of all, has given up has given up trying. What kind of speech will be able to teach me about Bhagavan? So I have given up learning about him from books and reading. Second, we have one Upamana. So even if you cannot see it directly or infer it, you can look for a parallel situation, right? You drop a stone, you see that the stone drops. Through Upamana, through simile, you can also say if you drop some other fruit, the fruit also will fall. But what happens? Kimva prapancha vastu prajanita jagatashchopamakhya samanam. Any simile I can find will be a prapancha vastu. Some object that is in this world, it is prapancha. It has either panchayati, it is either extended or it is made up of panchabhutas. So any simile I can find will be found in this world made up of panchabhutas. Who am I trying to know? Prajanita jagataha. He is the person from whom all this came into play. Tasmad vaya tasmad atmanaha akasha sambhutaha. So from that Paramatma akasha came, from akasha vayu agni, from then these 5 panchabhutas came, and these panchabhutas mixed will be anything that I hope to compare it with. So how can the end effect be comparable with the cause, right? So that does not follow. So I cannot even find a simile for it. Ava kimva prapancha vastu prajanita jagataha chopamakhya samanam. So therefore what I say is Durgneya Srinivasaha Sadishatu Shubhadam Mangalam Srinivasaha. So what I say is, I do not know anything. I will just do namaskaram to you. You figure out how you want to teach me. So in these few words, through whatever sahityam that I have been able to read, what teachers have taught me, there is one shloka in Bhagavatam. So Kuchela, not the Kuchela that gives Bhagavan the atukulu, the parched rice, but in Mathura, when Krishna goes, we see 2 types of people. So one is, both are Kamsa's employees, both are government employees. One is the person that is specifically in charge of making garlands for Kamsa. The second one is the person who is specifically in charge of washing the clothes, the washerman, Kamsa's personal washerman. So Krishna goes to the washerman, Krishna and Balarama go and say, give me the clothes. This person says, my loyalty is to Kamsa, so I will not give it to you. Krishna and Balarama forcibly take the clothes from him and put them on. Second one is a garland maker called Kuchela. So Kuchela, of his own volition, he was carrying these garlands to the palace to give to Kamsa for that day. Having seen Krishna, he himself stops, comes and gives those garlands to Krishna and Balarama. So we see these two opposing types of people, personalities. This Kuchela, he does one prarthana to Bhagavan in Andhra Bhagavatam. He says, Nipada Kamala Sevayu, Nipada Archakulatodi Niyamunu, Nitantapara Bhutadayenu, Apasamandarana Kudayaseyakade. So this is a very good list of things that we need to ask for, which is why I will tell this and close. Nipada Kamala Sevayu. First of all, I need the chance to serve your feet in all my coming lives. We cannot even say that. There was actually one Shaiva Kavi, he says, Bhagavan, I am saying sorry to you twice. He says, why twice? He says, two things. Because I did not do Namaskaram to you in my previous life, sorry once. Because I will not do Namaskaram to you in my coming life, sorry once. He says, what is this? How do you know that you have not done Namaskaram in my previous life? Because I was born, I did not get moksha. Therefore it follows that I did not pray to you in my previous life. So Bhagavan says, okay, you know that now, so pray now and pray to me in your coming life too. Why are you taking a discount on that? He says, no, I am praying to you now. So it is guaranteed that I will not have a next life. Therefore I cannot pray to you in the coming life either. In the same way, we cannot say that, but in the same way, in either this life or the next, give me the chance to save your feet, to serve your feet. Nipada Kamala Sevayu, Nipada Archakulatodi Niyamunu. Give me Sangam with other Bhagavatas. Give me friendship and good relation with other people that choose to serve your feet. Satsangatve Nisangatvam is the saying, right? Sangha is the main thing for everything. There's a shloka, verse in Bhadrahari. So one drop of water, if it falls on a hot plate, that same drop of water will become vapor. That same drop of water will fall on a lotus leaf and look like a pearl. That same drop of water will fall into an oyster, incubate for a while and come out and become a pearl. In the same way, through Sangha, through the company we keep, we can either lose our lives, stay where we are, or become even better than we are. So in the same way, we need to make sure that we keep our Sangha with Bhagavatas so that they keep us thinking about Bhagavan and Bhagavad Vibhuti. Nipada Archakulatodi Niyamunu. And then one thing, this is actually a very nice tie back. Yenacha upakriyate, yenacha upasamhriyate. It is said that you should always start speaking with, you should always finish with where you started. So this last thing that the person asks for is Nitantapara Bhuta Daya. So give me compassion towards all beings. All other qualities will follow. But the most important quality, right? We said this Daya is Sarvabhaumi. It is a queen of all qualities. So give me that quality of mercy. There's even that Shakespeare poem, right, in Merchant of Venice. Portia says it. So the quality of mercy is one that is the greatest of all virtues. So give me that daya. Nitantapara bhutadayena apasamandara nakudayaseyakade. So with this sahityam, with any kala for that matter, even Annamaya, we talked about the Venkateshwara Charana Prapatti. Pratibhadeva Bhankaram Swami did this Prapatti in terms of Kavitvam. This same Annamaya has written two songs on his feet alone. Brahma Kadigina Padamu, Ee Padame Kada Yudayallo Galichinadi. So in the same way he has done it with songs. And if people like that dance to the songs, you can do it with dance as well. So whatever medium we choose to serve Bhagavan by, we need to just make sure that it is asking for these three and always for him. So with these few words that I have learned from my acharyas, I will stop here. Shriya Kantaya Kalyani Nidhaye Nidhaye Arthinam Shri Venkata Nivasaya Shri Nivasaya Mangalam Mangala Shasana Parair Madacharya Purogamehi Sarvaishta Purvair Acharyai Satkritaya Mangalam Yato Nrasimha Parato Nrasimha Yato Yato Yami Tato Nrasimha Antar Nrasimhascha Bahar Nrasimha Nrasimhamadim Sharanam Prapadye Swasti.